welcome to another one take wrap up for the month of February. So I'm uploading this a little bit late. This is the first chance that I've had to sit down and film. Also, I'm not filming in front of my bookshelf. This is not a cute background, but this is the only spot in the house with natural lighting, and I'm filming on my phone, so I wanted there to be some nice lighting because that usually makes the iPhone camera look a little better. And this is the only place. So here we are. Let's just get into it. I read 5 books in February. If you haven't ever watched one of my one take wrap-ups, it's exactly what it is. I wrap up what I read in the month in one take. I don't go back and edit the video because I hate editing videos. So let's just get into what I read in the month of February. So first, I finished up the audiobook, The Temporary Roomie by Sarah Adams. I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. It had one of my favorite tropes, which is the heroine was pregnant, but this one was a very interesting take on it. She was pregnant by a previous relationship, and as soon as he found out, he was in the wind. So she had a lot to handle, and she was kind of freaking out, but she was handling things as they came, and then her house had a water pipe burst, I think that's what it was, or something went wrong in her house, and she needed somewhere to live. In the first book, the brother that lives in this house had a roommate, but the roommate got with the sister, the main character in this one's sister, so he moved out and moved in with her because they got married, and so he had an extra room again. And so Georgie, I think her name was, I could be totally wrong, who knows, she was like, why don't you have her move in with you? And so the main character from the first ones, it's her brother and then her best friend, and they move in together and they slowly start to fall for each other, and he's actually an OBGYN, so it was just such a fun dynamic. I had so much fun reading this book. Definitely, they are not super steamy romances or anything, but they have really cute characters, and I just really loved the premise of this one. It's not something I'd read before, and it's something that I would happily read again. I really liked the setup of this book, and I had so much fun. So next, I read this is probably my favorite book of the year so far, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I'm a little late to the trend with this one, but I loved it so much. It was so cute. I love the characters. I read it in less than 24 hours, which is not something that I have done in a long time. It was such a cute read. I loved the characters. I loved their romance. Even if at sometimes parts of the story were a little unbelievable, it was okay. It worked for the story. And I just had so much fun. I really liked the aspect that it was loosely inspired by Reylo from Star Wars. So it was just so cute. I loved Adam. I loved whatever her name is. I'm so bad with character names, but I loved the relationship. And I liked the way that they eventually came to realize their feelings for each other and told each other about it. And I just really liked the way it kind of organically happened. And they both love each other so much. And it was just the absolute cutest. And when I tell you I was dying at the climax part with the recording, if you know what I'm talking about, all that happened, I was dying. I loved it. Such a good book. It definitely, for me, is one that deserved all the hype it got. I had a lot of fun reading it so much. So next, I listened to the audiobook of Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. I think we all know this is a reread for me. Who knows how many times I've read this book, but I had never listened to the audiobook, so I decided to give that a try. I definitely think, I'm not sure the narrator they chose really was the best narrator for the voice of Bella. To me, it didn't sound like Bella, but that might just be how I imagined her in my head. It could just be it wasn't Kristen Stewart, so it didn't sound like Bella to me. But that being said, I love the book. I kind of got used to the narrator by the end. I do want to read all the other books because I reread them almost every year. But I don't know if I'll continue with the audiobooks or if I'll just read them physically. I want to experience the audiobooks for all of them. I just didn't love the narrator, so I don't know what I'll do. But I love Twilight, obviously. 5 stars. It's fantastic. It's Twilight. So next, I listened to Always Only You by Chloe Leese. This was the second one in the Bergman Brothers series. Don't mind my cat playing with me behind me. I liked this one. I didn't love it, but I thought it was really well written. I liked the characters individually quite a lot. I just didn't love them, like their chemistry as a couple. I didn't fully feel like the strength in the chemistry, but I did really like the characters in the book, and I liked the representation that was brought forward in the book. It wasn't something I'd ever read about before, so I thought it was really good in that respect, and I still will continue to read this series. I really like Chloe Leese's writing. At this point, I liked the first one a lot more than the second one, but I've also heard really good things about the third one and the fourth one, so I will still read the rest of the series. This one was just not as good as the first one for me. And then lastly, I read Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Now the first 4 books I swear I read in the first couple days of February, and then Weather Girl took me the rest of the month. So I didn't not like it. I did enjoy it. I liked the main character, and I liked the representation of like depression in her. I thought it was to my experience, a very realistic like representation of depression, of what it can look like in a person. But I just thought it wasn't paced super well, and the story kind of dragged. It took a long time to kind of get to the main points of the story. And while it didn't take a super long time for the characters to get together, the kind of like back and forth they had, I didn't love. That being said, I do think it was a good book, and I think there's probably people out there who would read this and love this a lot. And maybe if I read it at some other time, maybe I would have liked it more. I think if I'd listened to it on audiobook, that would have made a difference. I did like it. It was the same with the X-Talk. Both of her books I have liked, but I have not loved. I probably will still continue to try some of her books in the future. I would like to read her YA book as well. Don't mind the dog either, geez. But I do think and maybe this is just how she writes, she tends to write at a slower pace, like a slower paced novel. And maybe I just was not in the mindset for that. I was expecting, coming off of The Love Hypothesis, which is like super fast paced feeling to me, this one just felt so much slower. So it took me a long time to read it, but I liked the characters. It was a solid read. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. So that is all I read in February, not a lot. I'm hoping to read more in March, but I also do have kind of a busy month, so I don't know. We'll see. My reading taste will go up and down, who knows. But I hope you enjoyed. I will be uploading every Sunday-ish, and I might have some bonus videos this month. I'm not sure yet. I am trying to work out my schedule for uploading for the month, but I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next month for my next one take wrap up. But go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.